But let me just mention, that's a cool idea if you want to go off the groove when you are blending all these, different alternative versions of songs. Have that stab coming in, right? Slightly off and then cut. So instead of it continuing with the same song, you can, people notice it and then you can switch over to the next song, right? Especially if it's a very famous alternate version of the original song. I think that's a great way to really make it more noticeable. It can be like a center point, it can be the focus point. Now, one of the things I like to do here is, so we have that cue point, right? And it's at like a snare or something like that. We can add that in. So as it's playing, we can add in an additional snare at certain parts. It takes a bit of time. I'm still working on it to really accentuate it. But we're trying adding a bit of reverb and then, or like another effect on top of that, and then add in a quick burst of that cue point that starts as snare or something like that, like a vocal shout. And then you can add it in, just a bit of flair. Like that. So and then we switch over. You notice here we are either switching back to the original song or we've picked a different version of that song and it's all blending into one, right? But here, all we're doing to create that transition is we are allowing it to come in so it's familiar. So that the little stab, and then we have a gap. We cut the fader out, bring in the next song. So what we're doing here is we're going just slightly off the groove, grabs your attention, we got it, switch over. Okay. This does take time, be patient with it. Let's look at it again. Apologies, no, we haven't switched over. We just added in that sort of snare effect just for flavor, but we'll still continue with the first one. I thought this was the moment when I switched over. I believe it comes later, so apologies, no. We just added in that sort of that stab just for effect to get a bit of off-kilter effect, and then we'll continue. So let's keep going. But let me just mention, that's a cool idea if you want to go off the groove when you are blending all these, different alternative versions of songs. Have that stab coming in, right? Slightly off and then cut. So instead of it continuing with the same song, you can, people notice it and then you can switch over to the next song, right? Especially if it's a very famous alternate version of the original song. I think that's a great way to really make it more noticeable. It can be like a center point, it can be the focus point. So again here, we're adjusting the amount of the effect that we can add. So you don't have to just have a flat line of amount. Go from 20 to 30 to 40 to 50 to 80% to 100% and then tone it down, musically adjusting the amount of we want to add. Again, musically adding in the fader. I think it's better like this just because you just get used to it instead of just going, This way it's also your safety, just in case there's some hidden noise you didn't notice or something like that. Bring it in musically, bring it slowly with the groove. It gives you that bit of space, gives you that safety just in case. Okay, so we didn't notice anything, we brought it up. Okay, cool, bring it in, rockin'. We introduced that bit of big crush effect or snare previously, just so people get familiar with it. Leave it, song continues, we allow it to build. You Better Love Me comes in, the vocal. Bring in the fader, cut, and again we create that off-kilter off that secondary beat, play it, and we're into the next song. And then we create this intentional moment of it goes off that groove and we bring it back in. So again, one more time. You better, bam! Okay, one more time. And it's dirty, it's, bleh, and let's look at it one more time. I'm gonna dance to it, okay? And then we'll see the moment I'm timing it at, where I put it in. You better. Okay, so as we move forward, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, standard sort of, groove, right? So 1, 2, 3, coming in, we attack that moment when it's about to happen, we double down, and then we basically forcefully change the momentum of the groove.